Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. A little under the weather, voice might be odd, don't worry about that. But Netflix specifically dropped a clip for Requiem for Vengeance. Super excited to get into it. Lots of cool stuff going on, but there's also a glaring issue, and I'm sure most of you know about it. And I kind of hope we can all get past it, but I think that is an issue, and I'll explain why. But yeah, let's take a look. You know, first thing that's strange about this is how it's not on Gundam Info YouTube, actually. I went there to look for it. Not sure if Netflix is just getting an exclusive to that, but I would think they'd want to promote it, right? Anyway, and I'm going to skip here at the beginning, a lot of this is stuff we've already seen, so it's basically kind of just, from those early trailers, kind of just showing some cool scenery outside, seeing troop transports, tanks, troops running around. So, you know, just taking a quick look, I love the way it looks. Even what I call cinematography, it's an in-engine camera. Oh, I love that. But you see in the camera move, yeah, look at how the camera is moving here. Establishing shot, November 6th. We see that ship fly by. This looks fantastic. 11 months after the start of the Revolutionary War. But everything here looks cool, just seeing the troops, the tanks. So this is where we get into an issue that I think a lot of people keep harping on. And I myself, notice it, but I don't harp on it because it's like, it's all right. It's how it is. And that is the animations of the human characters. Although lately I have been watching other CGI-based shows, and the level at which the animations of the humans and their faces, the characters, I have a larger connection to. And I realize there's a lack of connection in the way they're animated here. For instance, this is David Fincher's episode. Yeah, it's David Fincher. Maybe I'm raising the bar here. Now, these characters are proportioned in a way to make them more exaggerated than the typical human. But when you see them talking and expressing things, it is believable. It feels a lot more natural. I have a connection with these characters. If you haven't watched this episode of Love, Death, and Robots, I guess it's called Bad Traveling. And boy, was I connected to the characters despite the setting. Some random pirate ship, and then there's a crab. I kind of don't care, but the way they were animating the characters, I was pulled in. I was really witnessing people going through something. Now, we come back on this, and I mean, I would even say some of the voice acting is not the greatest, but even then, I don't necessarily really care, especially when it comes to voiceover work, when it comes to animations. I can usually get over that. The reason I consider this a big deal is because with this being on Netflix and CGI and trying to capture a new audience, it's going to be much harder for newer people that don't know Gundam to really be bought into the world when you're going to, a character story, a character in general for someone that has never gotten into Gundam is going to be their focal point to get into the series if they're watching this for the first time. And if they're put off by the characters and they can't connect with them, it's going to be harder to connect with the rest of the series. Now, I am just guessing, but I think this show is going to be amazing. Oh, look at that shot. I think this is going to be amazing. So I don't care about the voiceover work, the way I would prefer something better, but hey, I went through the MS Igloo. Even that was hard to stomach, but I got over it. But again, here's the thing. If you're getting new people into this franchise, the anchor point, it's not going to be like, oh, here's a mech, because those people could go find mechs wherever they want. The anchor point is going to be the character-driven storytelling, even if it's not deep, just enough to really get the character. That's why movies, TV shows tend to hire known actors, because that is a connector point for the audience to be attached, to be bought in to the world. Okay. Okay, I know I'm complaining a lot, but look at all this. Again, we take out the voice acting, the human characters, the cinematography that is on display here is exactly what I like. I would even say there's some episodes of Love, Death, and Robots that did not do a good job of portraying a camera as a cinematic a camera. Instead, it's just like the static moving and this looks like someone could be on a dolly. That's what I'm saying. They're really doing a great job. And so that's the point of, me wanting to watch something like this, is to see the action, the tanks, the battles, the troops, Yeah, look at how this camera, it's like, yes, that little zoom. It's like there's a helicopter flying by and someone is filming the battles as they're happening. This stuff looks amazing. I mean, even look at it, it's like, oh, I want a Gundam RTS right now where I can select my units, send them out, the tanks, send them out. I mean, even that little, there's something about this that just looks jarring. And I don't really get it. So let's finish this, and then I want to kind of end my thoughts there with the human character stuff. Let me stop with that for now. Okay, so this is badass. I love the camera moving as we're zoomed into seeing these transports. We're seeing our character, which I want to say right off the bat, the voice acting here, I'm sold on. Like, this character sounds like a badass. I'm excited. And we've seen her in the trailers. It looks cool. But all this stuff where we're seeing them turn on the mobile suit, right? They're spending time with all the, what I've heard called like gear porn, right? This is the other element that a lot of us like about Gundam is there's time spent on showing off the technology in the world, the weapons in the world, to kind of help you feel connected to it as the characters are going through it. I mean, I love all this. They're taking their time showing them getting ready, like the camera work. This is excellent stuff. I tell you, I'm excited despite my complaints. Yeah, like, look at all of this. Obviously, I mean, you're watching this YouTube channel. And despite being sick, actually, this is picking up my spirits. Yeah, I love the portrayal of the ship there. That, okay, so that's the DOP fighter. And interesting, it looks like Igloo might have kind of moved forward the interpretation. So it is actually interesting. Let me go back for a second. That we get this, which, one, that looks badass. Is this the first time we've seen the interpretation of a DOP in this way? So I'm curious then, when we see this series, are we going to find out that is a separate ship entirely, which could be? Or is that just their interpretation of the DOP? Knowing what Bandai Namco tends to do, I'm going to say this is just another model, another variant that they've introduced. All right. Again, all of that looks fantastic. Like, even the level of quality of the CGI, all the details that are going on. Look at that. You got your Zaku's is diving down while the ship is blowing up. I was just watching Edge of Tomorrow, and it has like that similar thing where they're trying to jump out of the transport as it gets blown up. But I gotta wait. Okay, October 17th. Depending on when it actually drops, I would love to do like a watch along or something. I don't know if that's possible. Reach out to me if you've done that before, or the logistics, because I'd love to do something like that. And I don't know if that's done live or on Discord, but let me get back again to that issue, that it's not an issue for me. I can look over the fact that the human characters are like that. I know what I'm getting with Gundam. In fact, the music that they played in this is amazing. Okay, I felt I had to look it up to be fair. Wilbert Roget II is the composer. The music sounds amazing because it is very dynamic in terms of almost like, it kind of has that militaristic feel to it, but okay, the same composer of Helldivers 2, that music is excellent. It really evokes some of that Starship Troopers, aliens, military, when I think of the Colonial Marines or something, kind of that military, yeah, let's go out and fight. And that's exactly the cool type of music that this needs. Now, the other interesting thing, though, I want to go back to the human characters. The reason this is such a big deal is it's very common, and I guess maybe more Western culture, to really be put off by bad CGI, especially bad human CGI. But bad CGI in general. For instance, did you know the Little Mermaid movie, actually Disney lost, I think, $5 million on that? It lost $5 million for Disney. Now, people could say it's because of Ariel's color. I can't think that would have to, because we're still looking at a human we're connecting with. Who cares what her color is? Well, I think one of the main issues was the side fun characters, the creatures of the sea. It was off-putting because they were having them act like they would in the animation, yet they made them serious. It was a disconnect there. Likewise, EA's Medal of Honor, I forget, 2013, I forget which Medal of Honor it was, but it really doubled down on CGI character cinematics. And the whole time around that was the uncanny valley. People had trouble like with what they were seeing, and it was just, then it becomes the focal point of what you're watching rather than what it's meant to be. And it's not like people are being nitpicky. I think it's just a psychological thing. It kind of comes from the same place where anime historically here in the West wasn't taken as seriously as it was in Japan, in the East. Another example is a recent Call of Duty. There's someone with, why did I forget that actor's name? Kevin Spacey. Which the big deal around that was how the eyes weren't necessarily animated correctly to make sense. So everyone looked like scary robots moving around. And again, that's the other thing. What I see as someone that's in my 40s, have done this for a while. I'm really into creative endeavors, filmmaking, writing stories. When you're trying to connect with an audience, and you're using CGI, for instance, in this, they're using CGI as a whole. But what Love, Death, and actually, yeah, when I was showing Love, Death, and Robots, we were seeing that the characters didn't necessarily look super realistic, but the way in which they evoked their expressions, I could connect with, I could understand. In fact, I was more enamored by what I was seeing rather than off-put by what I was seeing. So we'll leave it at this. I'm going to continue to push Requiem for Vengeance as much as I can because I think it's going to be awesome. It's doing all the Gundam things I like from Gundam. I mean, this is, 0079 stuff. It's got the old school style, mobile suits and designs. But I can already tell there's people I know that I would show them the trailer and they would automatically tell me those human characters look like people from a PS2 cutscene. I'm not going to watch that. I can already tell. I mean, I already know people that have said that to me when I'm into Gundam. A lot of people around me aren't. I'll show them the trailer and that's usually the thing they will say is like those human characters look like a PS2 game. And that's just unfortunate because I think that's going to cause people to drop off, maybe not watch it. I hope not, though. So here's the thing. When the show comes out, if it's really bad, if it's not good, I'm going to, of course, give my thoughts on it. But for some reason, when it comes to UC, generally, Bandai always does a great job, so I'm not really worried, especially knowing the talent behind it. I'm not really worried. But really, when it comes to the animation of the human characters, to me, that has nothing to do with talent. It has to do with budget. It really does. So at the end of the day, I think we're going to get a good product. And I am going to, when it comes out, I'm going to push it. I want to try to kind of push that narrative of try to overlook the characters to enjoy the show. So anyway, that's my take. Curious what you think. Even, to be honest, the clip just seemed like a bunch of little edits from the trailer slapped together. But still, to see it in sequence, to see how much time they spend on camera work, on gear porn, showing the stuff in the world happening, it's exactly what I want, and I'm excited. I feel like this video can be 10 minutes longer. Luckily, I am feeling under the weather, and I can already tell I'm getting myself super excited, so I have to stop here. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think below. I'm so excited for this show. But yeah, we'll talk later. See ya.